All right. Good evening. What's good, everybody? This is Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, and we are live on Saturday evening for another artist spotlight. I'm very, very excited to get this one underway. We got an incredible artist, an incredible woman coming your way very soon by the name of NG Young, and I'm very excited to be able to fellowship with this woman and talk to her and hear her story and hear her music and allow my audience to get to know her and hopefully become some of her audience as well. So y'all already know the deal, man. As you guys are coming in the stream right now, go ahead and drop your area codes in the chat. Let me know where you're listening. Let me know where you're watching. And like I said, we do this artist spotlight every Saturday evening from 7 p.m. to whenever you're available. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple spots left for the month of September. October is already looking good. It's a beautiful time right now for independent entrepreneurs, independent artists. You have a platform here at Viral Hip Hop News to get your word heard, man. So I definitely appreciate each and every one of you that'll be coming into the chat. Like I said, drop them area codes. I will drop them throughout the chat as we are beginning to have the conversation. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on my next guest for the artist spotlight. It's NG Young. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm happy to have you on. Finally.
I
I got some
know it was,
ladies in the building.
yeah, representing,
Absolutely. So
representing.
like I said, I love doing what I do on Saturday nights because I get to know and get to introduce people that aren't typically heard throughout your mainstream media, aren't seen
Mhm.
on your couches typically, but are independent people doing great, phenomenal things. And I love the fact that I'm able to cross over brands and cross over content to where people can now become fans and become audience members of the people I interview. So go ahead and tap in with Angie Young as we conversate and go throughout this interview, get to know her, look her up on IG, look up her YouTube, and let's get some support her way. But without further ado, let me introduce my guest, NG Young, and let me allow her to introduce herself. So, how you feeling? Introduce yourself. Let the people know where you're from. Let the people know what you do.
All right. It's NGY, NG Young and Hip Hop Butterfly. Um, I live right now in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but originally I was born and raised in Chicago. And that's kind of my roots. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I grew up in Robert Taylor Projects, building 5323 South Federal, 4022. I went to Hardigan, Terrell, right up in there. I grew up in that. That's what it's just so ill. Like the things, the stories I could tell that I have told that are a part of my life and in my past, and I'm not done telling them. So, yep, that's where I am.
Dope. So, you live in Minnesota right now by way of Chicago, Midwest girl. I'm from the East Coast, never really traveled throughout the Midwest. I've been down south, I've been out west, but never hit the Midwest. So, talk about the culture of the Midwest and how it kind of um, bred you into who you are today.
Well, we got to go back a bit to Chicago, and it's still like this. Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in the United States, if not the segregated one. There's a lot of disadvantages and advantages that I see with that problem. So, of course, the neighborhoods where I grew up, Robert Taylor, I got to learn, and the kids that we grew up with learned to distinguish the difference between a car backfiring, a gunshot, and somebody just popping firecrackers, all by sound, all by trajectory. We can be like, okay, that's way over there. Okay, they're shooting over there. Oh no, it's time to go. When they get
Right.
closer. And I didn't think anything was abnormal about that. I thought that's the way everybody lived around me. If you're born into it and you grow up into it, it got a different cut into if you just on the outside looking in, or you know, or you just visit there.
Hmm.
But growing up in that didn't seem abnormal to me. I didn't realize that was not normal to hear gunshots all the time until we moved out of the projects and we relocated to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a couple years. But my mom, she moved back and forth through state. We was always going back and forth between Milwaukee and Chicago, which Milwaukee is you could throw a rock and hit Milwaukee. So it's really not
Wow.
that big. And most people did that. It's a lot of people that was in Milwaukee, in Chicago, relocated to Milwaukee and vice versa. So yeah, that culture is definitely there. But one thing about I can appreciate as I look back in retrospect about the projects, growing up in that you live like in a 4 or 5 block radius. Everything you need is right there. You didn't never need to come out of the projects to go anywhere, and it was designed like that.
Yep.
And so the South Side is all 97% black. But the thing about that is everybody's black. You go in the doctor's office, the doctor's black. You go in the bank, they black. You go, the businesses are owned by black people. You go in you can go in homes that's $1 million home neighborhoods, and all those people are black. So you see that kind of like it's a range of success from success, what far as wealth and material wealth is concerned. It's a lot of people doing well in Chicago. It's whole neighborhoods of people thriving. So I don't like the narrative that it's just all violence. Which street, where are you in Chicago?
Right.
And not downplaying the gun violence is atrocious. I know. I'm from there. I know. But it's a different thing going on right now there that wasn't there when I grew up there. It's heartbreaking. And realizing that I could never, knowing how many people I've lost, many of my people in Chicago have died, I can never endorse violence. Like, okay, let me go, let me kill. No, that's not fun. Why are we not seeing the other side of that coin? Yeah, this is how our life is. I get that. It was my life too. But when you tell, you'll be like, well, that's what art is. You tell your story. But people often ignore the sentence after that. That's often not quoted. The purpose of art is to show how life is, but it's also to show how life could and should be. Absolutely. We may not have that world right now, but Queen Latifah has a dope record that's really is underrated song called Black on Black Love. And what she's talking about, she had a dream, and this what it looked like to me if all black people was in harmony with each other, if it was peace between us. And it's so heartbreaking because it make you ache for that world. It make you, man, I want that, man, that would be dope if we lived like that. And then she wakes up from the dream and then describes the reality. But for that time, she's on that verse, it's just shooting daggers of warmth at your heart. Like, man, that would be dope if we didn't have, that would be dope if that was like that. So where's the imagination, the storytelling of an alternate life if could be? I understand, yes, this is your reality, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, but what are your dreams, baby? What are your dreams? What do you dream about? How do you feel when you go to sleep at night? Do you like the life you're living? What does your perfect world look like? Can we hear some songs about this? Because I know the artists that are out have the depth and capacity to make the songs. So then I got to question, why aren't these songs being heard? Why aren't these songs being pushed? Because I know that they're human beings, they have experiences like this where they wish things were different. I know they do. I know they do.
Absolutely. So let me hear some of your dreams about what you would aspire to be, and talk about some of your musical influence growing up in Chicago. And you said in Wisconsin, Milwaukee?
Mostly Chicago. I was born and raised there, but like I said, we move back and forth all the time.
Got you. So talk about some of your dreams and some of your musical influences.
Wow. My family. My mother has 7 sisters and 1 brother, and they all can sing. They can all sing. So during the holidays, they would get together and harmonize, the 7 sisters. And even my uncle would join in and sing, and they would just harmonize popular songs. So yeah, we listened to the radio, but I wanted to hear them more than anything. And we would just sit there as kids listening to this beautiful 7-8 part harmony from my family.
Wow.
And from my mom's sisters and a brother. So they are all musically inclined. They never really did anything with it or, went serious with it. It was just something that was the family tradition for them to get around and just sing and harmonize. And so that was my musical influence initially. So I grew up as a kid in the 80s. I was born in 79. So my musical influences are so vast. The music was so vast back then, from everybody that all black people just like and listen to specific people that only I listen to. Like, I'm really digging this. I got to give a shout out, hands down, to Common.
Mm.
Common is been a big. I liked him before everybody else because I'm from Chicago, you know.
Right.
And so we knew about Common way before he blew up. People, his album "Can I Borrow a Dollar?" Resurrection, One Day It All Makes Sense. That's like the soundtrack of my adult life, and how it made me feel when I listened to his music, and it was familiar. His sound, it was Chicago in my ear, and it was just filled with our culture there, with our lingo, the way we do shit, the way we talk, and how we get down, and and I just remember being heavily inspired by Common, and hands down before that, I gotta get Mary J. Blige. Her first album was the 411.
Mhm.
I bought it like she probably went platinum from me buying it over and over because everybody kept stealing it. When I
Wow.
bought the album, and that's how you know it was hot because people would lift. If you show them you got the CD, oh, back then it was cassettes and CDs.
Hmm.
Or we take it, you would lose it. People would steal your stuff if it's hot, and that's, I guess, to me that would be like, that's like ghetto success to me when your stuff's so hot, everybody want it, and to the point where they snatching it from you
Oh
or
yeah.
saying, let me get that from you. I can't find it nowhere. Or they sell out at the record store and people trying to buy the album from you. That's the way it used to be. And so Mary J. Blige influenced my singing voice as far as an alto. She's an alto.
Hmm.
The singers we got out now, like Beyonce, beautiful voice, but she's a soprano.
Hmm.
And just a lot of sopranos in there. And I was like, I'm an alto, so my grace was like Anita Baker, Regina Bell, Jennifer Holliday, Shirley Murdoch, and I can murder any of their songs because that's how I emulated my voice, is to sound like them. So like my aunts getting around at holiday time singing. A lot of times we had to be I had to be the entertainment for my family.
Hmm.
Yeah, sing this, sing this. And people ain't, I don't give a damn if they're your family or not. They ain't gonna request that you sing if you sing bad.
No, you got to know what you're doing, especially in our
And
houses.
so I learned by emulating those ladies' voices, and growing up in church, singing in church since age 4. Um, yeah, so those, my family, that soulful music, good music. I don't care what it is, if it's good music, it's influenced me. But number one, as far as my MCing, that's my singing. But as far as my MCing, no other artist, person has influenced me more than KRS-One.
Dope. Yeah, I was reading your bio or the brief description that you gave me. You said that KRS-One was your mentor. Speak on that.
So sometimes you feel alone, like when you think of, so I felt alone when I thought a certain way, or I view the world a certain way. And it can be lonely to walk a certain way in the world. The way you move can be very lonely because a lot of people are just following the herds. Sadly, today, whatever everybody else like, I'm like,
Right.
and you know, and so when you want to separate from that herd, say I'm gonna go over here and do something else. I'm gonna think another way, or I'm gonna live another way. It could be lonely and to do that. And when you have somebody that you're listening to or reading their books or whatever, they walk in that same path, you feel like a sacred, invisible kinship with that person or persons that have inspired you. It's no different when my heroes are Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and Fannie Lou Hamer. Those are my heroes, Harriet Tubman. So if those are my heroes and they're not alive in this time, does that mean I can't be inspired by their wisdom or their legacy that they left?
Right.
So even though I've never met KRS-One, I have a kinship with him through his music and his art, his way of life, and how he talks about the culture of hip hop, which totally changed my whole life. Knowing that this is a culture we can live and understanding what that means, and not just the culture of music, because rap is just but one element of the 9 elements of hip hop. It's just one thing. And so when you tap into all those 9 elements, it changes the way you see the world and the way you move, especially if you get blessed continually, abundance, because you walk in that path. It makes it easier to walk it when you're walking it right and for the right reasons. You get blessings for doing that. Yeah, it's a lot of bad stuff going in the world right now. It's a lot of evil, but also know that it is very benevolent forces also in working for people on your behalf, for you. Because the universe and God and whoever you hold that to be wants you to have your best life. It doesn't want suffering. It doesn't, you don't have to live like that. And this is coming from somebody who suffered a long time internally, a long time externally. When I learned that I have the power to remake my life into what I wanted just by thinking it and imagining it, I'm here to tell you facts. Facts. I'm living proof. I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to be here by right. I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm.
It was people like me get attacked a lot and get cut down before they get to this point
Right.
because they know their story will inspire someone. And they be like, damn, she went through that. And I can, if she did that, I could, right. And that's why you get cut down early, not because you're doing something wrong, because you're attacked. Because if people knew what you've been through and how you came out of it, that inspires. And right
Mhm.
now, that negative, that malevolent force that's around us doesn't want us to hope, doesn't want us to believe, doesn't want our light, whatever it is, to shine, doesn't want those things. And so when someone rises up, like how Tupac's poem, "The Rose That Grew from Concrete,"
I got it right on my arm.
right, "The Rose That Grew from Concrete,"
Mm-hmm.
when that rose comes up, trust and believe people will pay more attention to that raggedy rose than the one from fresh meadows somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
because they want to know how that happened and can I get that same result. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you can.
It's one of my favorite poems. I actually got it tatted on my arm. That's why I pointed to it. "The Rose That Grew from Concrete." My mom used to read it to me when I was, I don't want to say younger, but younger. You know what I mean? And it always stood out to me because throughout all the bullshit, throughout all the nonsense, all the pain, all the grief, there is beauty in all of that. And you could be that beauty if you just continue to work and continue to do your thing and continue to walk in God's path. And I've always stuck with me. And I'm glad you brought that up because your hip hop is your journey, is from what I'm seeing and what I'm listening to in your music. And I definitely appreciate it because you open yourself up. You hold yourself not accountable, but you, what's the word I'm looking for? You vulnerability is throughout your music. You can tell that you've been through some things and you share those things. So before we get to your first song that I like to play for the people right now, I like to know some of that story just a little bit in how it molded you into being the creator you are. Were you always into music and then went through the journey and then started talking about it? Or did you go through the journey and decide, you know what, I'm going to lay this down and allow this to kind of hit the world and let them hear my story?
Yeah, I didn't get into that. Yeah, I was an artist before the event that changed everything in my life. Um, Music in kind. I went to CVS High School, and it was a vocational high school, and we majored in art, music, and band and choir. And so I even had a little singing group back in the day. We just get on the L and harmonize like R. Kelly used to. He used to get on the platform and sing. Like the acoustics on the subway is ill as hell. So we were going down there into in the subway and harmonize. We would do like escape songs. "Tonight" was a popular one that we would all sing on the L. Any In Vogue songs we could lace, like we did all that. And so that was my singing group. I had two singing groups I was a part of, R&B groups, and I started writing songs for those groups. And then just kind of life happened. I became a teen mom at age 15, and I grew up really fast, and I got emancipated at age six. At age 16, when I had my son, my mom was really she had a lot of issues and with drugs and stuff. And when I had my son, I was like, I can't stay here. So that the course emancipated me to live as an adult at age 16. At age 16, I had my own apartment, job, and a baby, all in high school. And I graduated with a 3.6 GPA
Go ahead,
with my
girl.
son. I've been through a lot. I was a success story long before now. It
Word.
just all these things, everything life could throw at a person. I was at there knocking it out like this because it was my stubbornness, and it was actually people not believing in me, which helped me the most. That gave me the most fuel to keep going. Oh, I ain't gonna do this because I had a kid. Watch me. Oh, I'm not gonna go to college because I was a teen mom. Watch me. It came a point with proving them wrong. And then I decided, damn what they think. Let me prove myself right. Let me be interested in the things that I want to do because they come from me and come from my heart and tell my story. So I'm not gonna do what everybody else does because I'm not everybody else. And I have something to say that I think a lot of people need to hear. So when I had my son at age, and I graduated from high school, my mom had got herself together and moved to Minnesota. This is how I wound up in Minnesota. And she got her, she was clean, she was doing great. And she said, well, just move up here with me, you and my grandson. You can get jobs. They have so many programs here. You can just really, really make it here. And I moved up here, and within a month, I had my own place. I was in school and working. I was in school. I was a preschool teacher at my son's school. So I would take him to school with me, work with me at the preschool, and then bring him with me to college at night. I was taking college classes, and he would stay at the college daycare. And that was my life until I got into music, which changed. I got reignited by music again. Circumstances, situations happened in my life. I ended up having another daughter, getting married. That marriage didn't work out. Divorced. And then, like, so many people, I caught a rebound relationship, and then ended up getting into that relationship. He was a 5%er, a practicing 5%er. And so I got into him. We started performing together. He was an artist. It was like my love. And it didn't work out. We recorded a couple songs together. And I ended up getting pregnant with twins by him. And it kind of didn't work out, like I said. But he was there. He was a good dad. He was there for his sons. He was there as much as he did. There's things he could have improved on, but for the most part, he was there.
Right.
And then after the birth of the twins, I experienced something called postpartum psychosis, which is not postpartum depression. Postpartum psychosis is like postpartum depression times 10, in addition to schizophrenia together. So I had started having these visions that the world was going to end, that Black people were going to die, and all this kind of stuff, and that they were planning to exterminate. All this stuff came to me. And then 9/11 happened. And my sons, their father named them very Muslim names: Supreme Knowledge Allah, Sincere Understanding Allah. Mm-hmm. And 9/11 happens. And so already I'm paranoid about life because all this stuff that's going on. Right. And then I have a tangible reason to mistrust everybody around me. Like what happened when 9/11 happened. People tend to forget how much anti-Islamic sentiment it was in the country at that time. Yep. A lot of accepted bigotry and racism against people of the Islamic faith. And I felt connected to that faith by way of my children because they had these very 5% names, right? And so I started telling, I started going back and forth to the hospital, in and out. I started freaking out, having these visions that we were all in danger. Something was going to happen. They're trying to kill us. And they would just, calm down, Naomi, you're okay. Nothing like that's going to happen. No, something's going on. Right. And then one day, in the midst of all this stuff going on in my mind, in my heart, around me, I read a book called Behold a Pale Horse. And I don't know, when someone's being told that they're delusional, that their things aren't real, the things that are feeling is just part of your mental illness. It's not grounded in anything. There's no substance or truth to it at all. You're just totally delusional. You look for evidence to support your so-called delusion. Again, that attitude of, I'm going to prove you wrong, that some of this stuff I'm seeing and realizing and getting these visions of is coming as past. Right. So I read the book, and on page 165 of Behold a Pale Horse, it talks about a secret government program designed to take out minorities and Black people, especially, and Hispanics. And they were going to do this by way of promoting homosexuality in order to reduce our numbers, for us to get involved into homosexual relationships, because gays don't have children. They don't procreate. Right. This is something we all know. So they were going to uplift this thing called homosexuality to get numbers down, to use the poor homosexuals as a beacon, a way to achieve these very maniacal and diabolical schemes against Black people. And then they said ultimately, when they achieved their goals, they were going to exterminate the homosexuals as well. But the name of this government program in the book, Behold the Pale Horse, was called MK Naomi. My name is Naomi.
Mm.
So why is this in this book? So is there some truth to this? Am I really psychotic like they're saying I am? Or I'm one of these people that can sense when things are going to go left, because that has always been the case in my life. I left Chicago not only because my mom got better and said, come here. I left Chicago because I had a son. And I know if I wanted him to live, I had to leave.
Yeah.
See, if it was just me, I would stay, because usually women, women do gang bang, don't get me wrong, and they're involved in things too. But usually it's the men that carry on those things, and women can kind of just slip and slide through. Or, if as far as like being targets.
Right.
But if it was just me, I would have stayed in Chicago. I left here for that. So it's always been in my inclination to protect my children and see things before they come to pass in my life. People out here have those gifts, and I'm one of those people that have dreams, which is where the plot for my book, Illegal, the Hip Hop Tale, came from. But getting back to my story, a lot of people judge me for what I went to prison for, because what ended up happening, I was driven out of my mind to the point where I think that hurting me and my babies was better than them kicking in my door, waiting for the feds to come, waiting for them to drag me out and kill me with me and my twins, like they doing the Muslims in Guantanamo Bay. Oh, I was watching all the kind of news on CNN and stuff, and it was just filling my head with all this stuff. And when your mind is not right, you're susceptible to so much. And I was susceptible to all the media, all the images, the messages that's coming to me without anybody to sort it through or give a damn about helping me. All they said was, here, take this pill and you'll feel better. Never mind the real. Don't never mind the real stuff. This fake shit is better. Just pay attention, take your pills, and go to sleep. No, something is happening with me. Something is happening with this world. Something is happening with us. And they weren't addressing that. And recently, a reporter from the New Yorker magazine, shout out to Rachel Aviv from the New Yorker magazine, who just wrote a book about my story called Strangers to Ourselves, and her interview about the book. And she came out here, flew out here from New York, interviewed everybody. She just didn't interview me. She interviewed the DA who charged me in my case. She went to the prison I spent 15 years at and interviewed the guards and the staff about me. She went and got the records from the attorney. I gave her permission to have all my court records to show the history leading up to that event. And you know what? It'll make you cry, because the things they did to me in those hospitals, the things they did to me, I remember all that. But they think because I'm so-called crazy, I don't remember it. Or if I told, no one will believe me. So a great injustice has been done that's not even on the radar of our people. And it's not on the radar because it's part of a diabolical scheme to exterminate us. And I'm living proof of it. And I'm going to tell that story. And I dare you to prove me wrong. Go through my case. Look up the news reports. It's all there. Read it. Read it. I don't hide from what happened to me. I don't hide from it at all, because I know my truth and I know who I am. And on top of that, just one little thing I want to add, and I'll finish up on this point.
Sure.
5 years before my crime happened, I was living in McDonough projects on the east side of St. Paul. A Hmong woman. If people are not familiar with the Hmong race, Minnesota is a place of a lot of immigrants. People come here to kind of relocate and start their lives, because Minnesota does have a lot of programs for people who are coming here from elsewhere. And it has been a safe haven for a lot of people who were persecuted all over the world to come here and start their lives over. So it's been a very great learning experience for me here, culturally, especially, worldly too, globally, because a lot of people from all over the world But it was a young woman by the name of Kuahur. I was pregnant with my daughter. Again, I'm a teacher at a preschool now, around kids all day, right?
Right.
And I'm rubbing my belly. My mama is sitting on the couch, and breaking news comes on. A mother of 6 has just slain her kids. She's a Hmong woman. This lady lived doors down from me.
Oh, wow.
She slain her 6 kids. But
Shit.
this is in the same projects we lived on. And mind you, I did some research on that project. It was built on an old cemetery.
Wow.
We'll take that for whatever it's worth.
Right.
So anyway, 6 years, I'm rubbing my belly, and her story comes on. I'm like, how could she? Oh my God, she's a horrible mother. And my mother stopped me. She said, baby, don't do that. You don't know what that woman's going through. And even though I respect my mom, because what she say, I set it up immediately.
Right.
But in my mind, I continue to judge this woman.
Right.
For what she did, because I didn't understand. I didn't have the capacity. I could never see myself do something like that, right?
Yeah.
But life is tricky. And the law of 3 and the universal law is that whatever you send out comes back to you times 3. Know that what you sow, what you reap, you sow. The way you judge another person, that's how you will be judged. Trust and believe that. You judge somebody for something, that's going to happen to you or your loved ones. And that's just the way it is. So be careful. Like I wasn't careful for judging that woman. And here 5 years later, I do the same thing as her. And it's only one women's prison in Minnesota. So I end up going to that prison. And guess what? I'm sitting right next to her. But guess what? She was the first woman to come up to me with her hands out. She said, yeah, I heard about your story. I don't know if you know who I am, but I pray for you. And if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm here. Now, that ain't some enlightening shit. I don't know what it is.
Right.
You judge somebody. Now you up in here with them for the same shit they up in here for. Now what? No, shit gets real then. Or it comes full circle then. So I end up writing my song, He Knows, because the only person that I felt at the time who loved me, other than my family who supported me throughout this whole endeavor, was God and my husband. And he's featured in the video. He plays Jesus in the video.
Okay. Wow. Okay. We're gonna play that video right now. He Knows by NG Young. Gave you a little bit of the backstory on what the song is, and I'm glad I got to hear that, and I appreciate you sharing your story and having the strength to do so. But right now we're gonna get to the song because I can't wait to hear it and can't wait for you to expound more on it. So let me go because I think I got the other one up, but we're gonna make sure we get this right real quick. Let me see. He Knows. There it is. Boom. All right. So y'all sit back, relax, enjoy. He Knows. Minnesota Code TV. Angie, is that your page?
No, that's the videographer's page who shot the video. Minnesota Code TV. He's dope. He does great work, great videos.
Absolutely.
And it was 11 degrees below zero when we first shot this video. 11 degrees below zero.
Oh, you was out there working then.
Oh yeah.
It was no joke. Hey, well, listen, do me a favor. As the song is playing, why don't you drop your YouTube handle or your Instagram or social media handle in the chat? I'll put that up on screen so people can follow you as we listen to the song. But let's get right to it.
Mm-hmm.
Cold.
This goes out to all the mothers and children who were victims of infanticide, my son and myself included. Rest in peace, Sincere.
Contrary, doing it different.
I used to be like Juliet, wherefore I died, searching for a king or Romeo, my lost crown. I had to learn the lesson, true love lives in me. Like Nefertiti, self-love is majesty. I say that last line without vain or conceit. Been called everything except black beauty. So ask me how I know that I come from royalty. He tapped me on my shoulder, said, Clink and walk with me. Tell me where you go when you can't have a map. Tell me who's your friend when you've been outcast. Tell me who you call when they don't accept the lack. You go to where they know your name, like the Cheers cat, yes. He knows my name, he knows. He sees each thought that I think when I thought. He sees each tear that falls down my face, and he funny sometimes how life just turns around. Who you judge when you're up becomes you when you're down. Back in 98, I was watching TV. A mother of 6 Nick saw her babies. Condemned and said it could never be me. But never came for me. July 4, 2003 became the very thing that I said I'd never be. Now I understood what understanding is deceased. When I came to prison, guess who held out their hand? Guess who said, if you need someone, I'm a friend? Guess who understands what no perfect mom will? The same mom back in 98, I condemn her, my friend. She knows my name, my name. She knows, she sees each thought that I think when I thought. She sees each tear when it falls down my face. And she hears me when I call. She knows. I need you to be clear on exactly what I say. The sky is falling down, Chicken Little end of days. Careful who you hurt and the friend that you betrayed. Angels in disguise will show us all the way. I don't care anymore about the scriptures that you quote or the words of the prophets that you utter from your throat. What matters is the love in your heart that you show. Don't matter what faith you have, it matters if you don't. Tell me who watches both sparrows and me. Tell me who got the brown brass colored feet. Tell me who has hair like wool, kinda nappy. Yes, Jesus loves you, boy, but I'm his family. He knows me. He knows my name, my name. He knows. He sees each thought that I think when I thought. He sees each tear that falls down my face. And he hears me when I call. He knows.
He Knows by N.G. Young. Incredible, incredible, incredible song. Incredible work. We got the backstory a little bit. And as you were telling the story, or as you told the story, as the song goes on, you hear it step by step on what you were just saying. So phenomenal job. How was it recording that record? Because obviously you dealt with something fairly traumatic and it was, you know what I mean? You were a part of that traumatic experience. So talk about how you felt recording that record and how that makes you feel today, even listening to it and experiencing what you experienced.
Well, long before the song was actually recorded, it was wrote in prison. And I actually played acoustic. I took guitar lessons. It's a whole different kind of thing in the prisons in Minnesota because majority of the people out here are Caucasians. So everything's top notch here. So the prisons, I had keys to my room, wooden door, ain't no bars on it. It was no fence around it either.
Wow.
Until 6 months before I left, and I spent 15 years there. So 6 months prior to getting out, they put a fence, but it was always no fence there. They even did a little comedy about it on the Daily Show, Shakopee Prison. Why everybody ain't left here? Because it's a different kind of border in your mind, especially for women.
Right.
But we ain't gonna get into that. But anyway, so I wrote in the song, taking guitar lessons. And I played it on the acoustic. I went to a church service one night, and they were singing. He Knows. The hook to that song is actually from a church song that they used to sing on when the church people come in and do service for the prisoners. And they were singing that one night, and I said, I gotta learn that. And so the guy gave me the chords to the song. And I went back to my room and I played on the acoustic all night until I wrote that song.
Wow.
And so I wrote the rap lyrics are mine, but the hook is from that beautiful song. Because I feel like if nobody understands what my heart and people judge for what they think they know or think my motives or think my intentions was about that,
right?
You know, they could never, any insult they say to me is nothing compared to the way I used to talk about my own self inside. Right. So I'm pretty sure people got good insults, but I swear they weren't as good as mine for myself. And so realizing that, I said, I want to tell my story. I want to tell this. So before it was recorded, it was being sung in the prison. The whole guards, everybody would come watch me perform He Knows.
Wow.
In the prison.
Yeah.
The warden come see me play He Knows. And so I said, they told me make sure I get out and do something with that song. So the hook is a little different from the original, because the original is like a belting out song, you know. So it's like, you know, a really belting out like
Right.
song. And that one is kind of taming my voice a little bit because I have a very strong, loud, powerful voice. And I had to downsize it for the track in the video to be more appealing.
Right.
And so that's how it came to be. And so when I got out, my son, my oldest son, who's, I love you, I hope he in the chat, my daughter's in the chat.
Nice.
My oldest son, the first one I had at 15, he's 26 now, and he just said, Mom, you got to get a video for this song. It's recorded, but you need a video.
Right.
So he actually got in touch with the Minnesota Cold TV guy, and hooked us up, and it was history from there. And I've been using him for a lot of my videos. He's just amazing. He's an independent videographer, really putting on for the artists in Minnesota. So big up to him.
And big up to you, and big up to your family, and big up to your strength, and big up to, like I said, you allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to not only share your story, but find strength in your story and help other people throughout their journey. I got a son and a daughter, and when we had our son, his mother dealt with some things too mentally, and I was there, and I rode, and I picked up the slack, and I picked up the pace, but I had no idea what was going on. So I held a type of resentment for her, not knowing mentally what she was truly going through. And we're no longer together right now, but we've had conversations. We are close, and I have a little bit more of an understanding. And I'm just thank God that I was there to be able to pick up those pieces when she wasn't around, to be able to fill the slack, even though it wasn't the best of times at the time. Looking back on it now, I'm just glad I was there for not only my son, but for his mother as well. So big ups to you, much respect to you, and just God keep just putting love over you and your family, for sure.
Absolutely. And I also do that in my work. Like at the end of that video, I used to work for NAMI Minnesota, which stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I worked as a community support person, and also a person that helps promote their events and their services to the community. And after that, I left to do music and to get in some other things. But then I'm with an organization called Minnesota Freedom Fund. We post bail for people who cannot afford to post. So we have been posting bail for a lot of people, getting people out. And I'm the one, after they get out, they assign me to them to help restore some of the things they lost. See, if you got pulled over and you went to jail, and you went and you had a bail and you can't afford it, so now you got to sit until your case is decided. And so by that time, you done lost a job, you done lost your apartment, you done lost your car. And so our job is to help people get out of there, rebuild their life. And I'm responsible for help setting them up with services to help kind of replant their life and kind of restore some of the things that were lost during their incarceration. So
phenomenal stuff. Definitely appreciate your work and what you do, and appreciate your music as well. We're about to play your next song, The Calling, featuring your mentor KRS-One, real quick, kind of just to kind of shift gears. Before we do, talk about the inspiration behind this song, and talk about the inspiration behind this song.
Well, the song, it talks about, I had a dream that one day, like it's in my book, basically. I gotta plug my book. I gotta put the plug.
Hold on. Keep that joint up. All right, go ahead.
I gotta plug the book. It's called Illegal: A Hip Hop Tale.
Dope.
And it's a fictional account with, I forget what the sentence in the beginning is called, but it takes from Fredro Starr, basically inspired the subject of the book. But actually, when I was thinking about it, I went to sleep and had a dream to expound on it. So Fredro Starr, shout out to him. He got a song called What If, and all he's doing is just asking a bunch of questions. And he asks, what if hip hop was banned in 52 states and gave you 5 years apiece for record CDs and tapes? So I started thinking about that. What would a world look like if that were true? And how could a world that's so embracing of hip hop and all over the world, people love it, it's the number one genre, $1 billion industry, to being illegal? And you'll be surprised how many similarities between what's going on now as far as our rights being taken away, freedom of speech, people getting locked up, rappers dying.
Yep.
And that relationship between the music that we put out and what we are loyal to. Are you loyal to this art? If you're not, think about this. I wanted people to think about, what if you had a friend that only called you when they wanted something from you?
Mm-hmm.
They want some money, call you. Hey, you got some money? Yeah, I'll cash app you in a minute.
Yep.
All right, thanks, buddy. I love you. Hey, can you watch my kid tonight? Thanks, buddy. I love you. And not really spending no time caring about the friend.
Right.
And so what I did was personify hip hop as if it was a person who does all these amazing things, makes so many millionaires, makes so many people rich, and famous. But I got asked the question like Sweet Janet did, what have you done for me lately? So I made the song.
Without further ado, we're about to hear the song right now because she gives the best goddamn intros to her songs. It really paints the picture on what we're about to hear. So without further ado, let's get right to it.
Yo, mental illness is real. It's starting to affect everything and everyone. We gotta take care of the things and people we love. Word. I got a call from a friend the other day. I knew from the sound of her voice she was far from okay. She wanted to play. I'm like, who? Not the dude who played you for a fool. He ain't worthy of your queen. Let it be. Nah, man. I wanna do away with me. What? Girl, you tripping. No, I'm not. But you hot and you rock. So was Pac, man. Stop him and Big from getting shot. Did it not? The same as Pac. They sold me out for some dough and a place on the chart. Right there, to your start. I got this phone call from hip hop. What if I die? How would you then live? 'Cause I live for you. Is it true that you do? Show and prove. Do it, boo. Would you even miss me? Or would you just miss the things I do for you? Yo, you can't talk like that. Just calm down. Listen to me. I'm getting in the car right now. I'm on my way to you right now. Don't bother. I swallowed all the pills I found in the house right now. Why you wanna die anyhow? They gave them carton clothes, freaky hoes, by the dough. Now it's fake, I might as well be gone. Worship with money. This shit ain't funny. Even the bees fed up. They said we out, fuck making honey. To most I am dead. Yeah, KRS said I live. I wish others could know me like he do and the old school did. Those were the days. Maybe it's my time. I'm getting sleepy. My soul is tired. Hip hop? Hello? Hip hop? Oh, no. Say something. Please. What if I die? How would you then live? 'Cause I live for you. Is it true that you do? Show and prove. Do it, boo. Would you? Would you even miss me? Or would you just miss the things I
Couldn't survive the second. Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
I awoke from this dream. How real it seemed that the very thing helped me survive. Just gave up and chose to die with tears in my eyes. Promise inside, if I ever rise, won't sell out. Fuck tweets like saying getting clout. Be true to myself. Not about wealth. Gotta appreciate and give help before it leaves. Exit left through telling y'all what to do. Free will, yeah, you free to choose. But for my destiny is to elevate hip hop's name.
Modern hip hop. too many of our mainstream people, not just rappers, athletes, journalists, artists, teachers, people responsible for us. The speaker, the artist is responsible for the community. What the skill means is responsibility. You are blessed like this to serve your people. There is no other reason for your talent other than for you to serve your people. Now, those that are supposed to be representing a people have dropped the ball. Matter of fact, they even dropped it, they threw that shit in garbage. Willfully.
He was only 24 years old, was just starting what was expected to be a promising career in music. But tonight, it's only what could have been. Los Angeles police are investigating the shooting death of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls.
Yes. That was NG Young, the calling that we just heard here on Viral Hip Hop News. Before we get up out of here, that first off, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for trusting my platform to give your message. Thank you for sitting here and being transparent and allowing me and my viewers to hear your story and share your music and share your story. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing because you're an absolutely phenomenal human being doing phenomenal things. So thank you.
Thank you. Peace.
No problem. Hey, before we get up out of here, though, because I cannot let you leave before letting the people know where they can find you, without letting the people know where they can find your music, where they can purchase your book. Please let them know right now.
So it's interesting. My book is on Amazon.com. Again, Illegal, A Hip Hop Tale by NG Young. Right now, we just completed the audio version. So I just approved the samples. I just approved the audio. So you could just listen to it because not everybody has the time to sit in front of a book and read. And I understand that our lives are busy and I get it. But maybe you can listen to it in your car on the way to work until you finish it, or when you're just around the house cleaning, just put it on and listen to it. Because I know we're all like multitasking and have a million things to do, you know, especially as Black women. So definitely pick that up. All my music, all my videos, and also I'm a lecturer and keynote speaker. I speak on the criminalization of mental illness. I speak on the fallacy and of the mental health system and mass incarceration. I have some great information for you to learn and listen to, and hopefully open your mind, because it is things going on right now that are not being talked about. And how can anybody approve them if they're not aware of the issues in the first place? So I'm on YouTube. My channel is NG Young is Illegal. That's NG Young IS Illegal. On my videos, my lectures, my interviews, everything's on there. If you want to know anything about me, it's all on there. And make sure you check out my website, lovemustbeentertainment.com. My bio is on there, my links. And if you want to reserve services for your next keynote or panel about mental illness with lived experience, and I know the system, I know the rules, I know how it works, and most of all, I know and I am an expert on me and my experience and what I have to share and been through. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thanks to my wonderful family. I love you, sister, my babies, my children, my husband. I love you, Eyes. I love you, everybody that supports my music. And look, I'm just into getting it out there, but you really want, you got to see me live. So absolutely. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I love you, sis. I love you, mama, daddy. I love you. I love you, husband.
I'm sure they love you back, and we appreciate you. And hopefully we got some new people coming over your side and supporting your movement. We definitely appreciate you. Please keep in contact with me behind the scenes. Anything that I could do to help further your career, whether even be sharing a video, whatever it takes. I'm saying
just
it
share
publicly.
it.
And I'm gonna say
hey,
it
I got this dope artist. There's so many
Gotcha.
videos on there. So a lot of good stuff. I appreciate your support. And remember, take care of yourself.
Anytime. Thank you very much. You take care.
Thank you. All right.
Indeed. What an interview. What a story. Definitely appreciate NG Young for sharing her story and letting her voice be heard on the platform. Viral Hip Hop News. Listen, if you want to be on the platform, I do this every Saturday evening. If you want to have your music heard, you have a business, a product, or anything of that nature that you want to share here on Viral Hip Hop News. Last week we had a spoken word poet as well as a comic book creator. This week we had a dope female lyricist sharing her incredible story. I love this kind of stuff, man. This is what I do, and this is what I'm here for, to service independent people like yourself. So tap in with me. Please do. Sam Ant at vhiphopnews.com. That is Sam Ant at vhiphopnews.com. But we're about to get up out of here, man. I'm about to go eat some dinner and enjoy the rest of my evening. Hope you guys do the same. Love yours. Love yourself. Sam Ant, CEO of the brand Viral Hip Hop News. Till next time. Love y'all. Peace.